If you enjoy watching Common Ground online, please consider making a tax-deductible donation at lptv.org. Lakeland Public Television presents Common Ground, brought to you by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota. Hi, welcome to Common Ground. I'm your host, Scott Knudsen. On this episode of Common Ground, meet Kelly Schultz of Bemidji as she creates feathery fascinators. Then join juried artists at the Jaques Art Center Quick Paint Competition in Aitkin, Minnesota.
Hi, I'm Kelly Schultz of Angeline Alice Millinery, and I make fascinators. I started making fascinators after the wedding of Prince William and Kate Middleton on April 29th of 2011. And since then, I've made over 100 fascinators and headbands and hats. This is just a little bit of the collection that I have with me today. I'm going to show you a little bit of how I make each of those fascinators. The process I go through with each of the fascinators I make is I kind of come up with a vision. Sometimes I do some sketching. A lot of times it just comes from the inspiration I get from either the web or magazines or things that I see. A couple materials I always use. One is I recycle cardboard. I will give that secret away. But I also use a material called buckram, which is actually like a starched cotton. It comes in rolls of bolts of fabric, and it is basically a woven material that has starch in it. So what you do in order to mold it is you wet it down, and then I use a hat mold. My makeshift hat mold actually is a 5-pound weight. It's a medicine ball, which is the perfect shape for making something like this. Here I've got the buckram. I've already wet it, it's been dried. I put it on my hat mold and I shape it. And once it's dry, then it pops right off of my medicine ball, which is really convenient because the medicine ball's got a little flexibility, so it's easier to pop off the buckram. And then I've got my piece that I can cover with fabric. So that's kind of how I start. And even with the outside being a little wrinkled, once I put the fabric over it, you won't even see it. The next step I do, once I've got the buckram off of my medicine ball, I cut out a piece of fabric that's about a couple of inches wider than the actual piece of buckram. So then I fold it in on the inside of the buckram like so, and what I would do is stitch it all the way around. So you can pin it and then stitch it, so that way you've got a smooth setting. Once it gets all done, you'll find that it will fit around the buckram. Once it gets done, then you've got a piece that you can attach to your fascinator. So once I've got that attached, then I would cut out another piece about the actual size of the inside of the buckram piece. And then I smooth it out by cutting probably about a little over 1/4 of an inch off. So there you are. And that's the piece that's going to go on the inside. Once you have the outside all sewn onto your buckram. So the circle that would go inside the middle would basically end up being the piece that goes on the inside underneath your buckram. The next step is deciding whether or not I was just going to leave this little topper or add some big embellishment. Now, some of the pieces that I've made, I have gone and done just a basic little topper. So what I just showed you with the buckram and the brocade, I put over the piece of buckram, and then I hot glued pheasant feathers to the outside in layers. I'm fortunate living in northern Minnesota to have feathers. I mean, they're everywhere. Good friends of mine have turkeys, so come Thanksgiving, I get a phone call from my one friend, and she says, I've got a bag of turkey feathers for you. I'm like, well, nothing goes to waste here in northern Minnesota. So you can do something with pheasant feathers or all feathers, or You can do something a little bit more bold with that topper and actually attach it to a bigger piece. The circular part here is basically a piece of cardboard that I have covered with this beautiful woven houndstooth fabric. And I also have turkey feathers on this one, along with a Gerber daisy. So you can do something a little bit bigger and bolder, something to go with fall, obviously. And I love adding a little bit of bling in the middle. I have jars and jars of beads and rhinestones and buttons and things I like to use. I especially love using feathers, but I also love using silk flowers. And I like to buy a lot of my silk flowers here locally, from Ben Franklin to Joanne Fabrics here in Bemidji, because I go in there and they all know me. Once you get your piece, you can put it on either a headband or a clip. I prefer them on a headband. Then if they are a little top heavy, I can use bobby pins to keep it on. So basically, once you get your headband on, then you have your fascinator all ready to go with your outfit. And like I said, this would be great for fall. One of the other touches that I do to all of my millinery creations is I add my little tag. And I hand make these as well. They actually sell sheets that you can run through your printer. So I print it out at home, I attach it to interfacing to make it a little more sturdy, and then I cut each of them individually and I put them on my millinery. Well, most recently I started doing bridal pieces. I spent 14 hours in a car with my husband traveling through North and South Dakota and hand beaded this piece. And I hadn't done any hand beading for probably about 20 years. And I found that it was absolutely exhilarating. It was a lot of fun seeing the beginning to the end product, and I've gotten a lot of compliments on this one. This one actually, after a friend of mine saw it, she commissioned me to make her beaded headpiece for her wedding. The other example of bridal pieces would be this one here. It's probably more of a winter wedding style. It has the birdcage netting, the white feathers, and a little bit something blue. So, depending on how elaborate a bride wanted to be. Obviously, it's her day. If she wants to stand out a little bit more, a fascinator or beaded headband might be just the right piece. Well, then we move on to something a little bit more Cape Middleton-like. Ostrich plumes, very popular in Europe. And of course, I did do a little bit of beadwork. This one was made after I made the beaded headband that you just saw, and I did an entire trim of all glass bugle beads, and then topped it with a silk flower that's also got some blue, and then like a royal blue satin. And the fabric that I used to make this, that I covered over the buckram, I actually bought a scrap of material from Anderson Fabrics in Black Duck. So they're my other favorite place to buy fabric, because they sell a lot of scraps, from materials that are used for upholstery to silks that are used for drapery. So a lot of times the fabrics are a little bit more sturdy than you'd find, and they hold their shape as well. We go from that piece to something covered in feathers, inspired by my favorite milliner, Philip Tracy, who has done a lot of royal hats. This one I actually entered into the Beltrami County Fair this year and won a blue ribbon for, so I was very proud of it. But it is entirely covered with peacock feathers. And these are the body feathers. And it goes from those smaller body feathers to the bigger, bluer outer body feathers of the peacock. And then I topped it off with one of the arrow feathers. And what I did to curl this feather is, you know how when you take a scissors to gift wrap ribbon and you curl it, you can do the same thing with feathers. And I actually learned this process from Philip Tracy. He's got a video out. It's called Feather Salad. And basically this was my version of feather salad. I also have a rooster feather and a few other miscellaneous feathers, but that one's a guinea feather. And I just added the polka dots just to be different, just to kind of mix it up a little. But this one's my favorite so far. And all of this is on top of, again, a piece of buckram that I molded and a piece of black brocade, which has polka dots. It kind of matched the guinea hen feather with the black and white polka dots. So some of my inspirations have been like movies. The Great Gatsby came out this past summer, and some of the pieces that inspired me were some of the headpieces from that era where there was a lot of sequins and rhinestones and very dainty features of those pieces. Something more like this, where you're seeing a headband that has a little bit of that retro style, along with the guinea feathers and some of the black rhinestones there. The other things that inspire me too, obviously I mentioned northern Minnesota, just being around all the birds. This one kind of ended up being a little bit more wild and crazy than I wanted, but those are peacock feathers, by the way. But those are the female peacock feathers. Of course, as we all know, in the bird family, the males are the ones in the bright colors. The females have more of the subdued colors because they need to protect their young, so they're more camouflaged. And then, of course, Shannon's also carries some of just my hair clips. Those pieces just clip into your hair, and basically you can use it as a hair piece or you can clip it to a scarf. Here's another piece that I made a little bit smaller. So again, you can clip it to a scarf, to a collar, you can put it in your hair. And again, I'm using a lot of the local feathers. Pheasant, grouse. The ones in the middle of this section here are from a golden phoenix, and it's actually a chicken. And with that one, it was incredible when I found the feathers. I actually found them in a little gift shop just south of town, Gifts of the Wild. They had them labeled as golden phoenix, and all I could think of was the mythical character. And I'm like, wow, these are great feathers, but they're beautiful. So of course, I just enjoyed using them, and of course adding a little bit of bling in the middle of each of those headpieces just adds a little different flair and a little bit of class to whatever outfit you're wearing. I love using plaids, and I love using untraditional fabrics for fascinators like fleece and flannel, and I use a lot of wool and tweeds. I mean, your typical fascinators are probably made with brocades and silks, but I love things with texture. This is actually the fabric I used to make my very first fascinator. I still had a scrap of it. And of course, Christina owns the first one, but this one's gonna be mine. I have to own a piece that is from the fabric that I used for my first fascinator. My fascinators can be found in a couple of different places, actually. Shannon's Art and Soul in Bemidji, and you can also find more of my items online at angelinealice.com, and I have a little shop there as well, so got plenty of options to find my items. Well, back after the royal wedding happened and I started making my fascinators, I was fortunate to be able to sell my items at Bad Cat Creations. Actually, Christina owns probably more fascinators than anybody in this town. But when her store closed, I really didn't have an outlet. I was very fortunate when Shannon opened up her store. She was welcoming, and I was able to take pieces from all my elaborate stuff to my more conservative styles and be able to sell them here in northern Minnesota. So I love having the opportunity to be a local artist in her store, and I love being able to see my stuff on people that I run into in town. It's great to go to events and see somebody wearing one of my pieces. Last year I was fortunate in the fall. The Minnesota Fashion does an emerging designer showcase, and I know Lakeland TV has featured me when I was there, and it was fun to be able to be part of Minneapolis-St. Paul Fashion Week. I was the only designer from outside the metro area, which was exciting for me, and to be able to see my fascinators on a runway with another designer's clothing and to be able to match things up so well like we did, it was probably the best moment of my life, just seeing it on a runway and knowing that here I was at Minneapolis-St. Paul Fashion Week. So that was exciting, and things just keep getting more exciting. And all of the things that I use to make my fascinators, I'm fortunate enough to find in northern Minnesota. From the fabrics, having a place like Anderson Fabrics, having the Bemidji Woolen Mills. I also make newsboy caps, so I get a lot of my materials from them. Feathers that are locally grown Minnesota birds, and just my inspiration of living here in Bemidji has helped make some of those fascinators.
My name is Claire Fix. I'm from Cambridge, Minnesota, and I've come up here every year to enter the contest, and I stay with my sister at her cabin. And I'm going to be working in oils, which is my favorite.
And then give him a ride.
Yep, we'll do.
Get him in spot,
Yep.
so that would be really good. And we've got 1 minute.
Yeah, she goes.
This is a good spot. We saw it, we walked around here before, and I kind of liked the field with the little evergreen trees. And the back distance, you got the bluish background trees and arch trees. So, and I don't have a lot of time to set up, so I'm going to need all that time. So I'm not going to be fussy. This is oil paint. Oh, right on close.
I was fortunate enough to be one of the first ones for Common Ground when we had the Arts Center.
Oh, that's great.
That young lady came and interviewed us.
Guess that's enough of that. Now they can paint.
Yes, it's a quick paint, so you have to paint as fast as you can and make decisions, and that's the cool thing about a quick paint, I think. It's just a wonderful opportunity to make some quick judgment calls.
I'm working on a plein air painting for a competition I'm in here in Aitkin. We're doing the quick paint today. So this is a competition that's been going on for a week here in Aitkin, and I'm just sort of wrapping it up. Today will be the last day in the judging, so we're all eagerly anticipating that and being close to done with this event. We turned in all of our work last night except for the quick paint. This is the last event before the opening reception and the judging. And since I'm really occupied in my right brain right now, it'll be a little difficult for me to talk. I can tell you what I'm doing right here. It's difficult for me to talk about something else right now. I'm working from memory mostly right now because this is what sparked my interest when I was driving out this morning. And so I'm just sort of sculpting some of these forms and trying to remember what some of the colors were in this gorgeous sunrise sky. Exact details aren't as important to me as the color that's going on right now and I'm trying to decide if I make a stroke that goes around that. I won't want that, so I think I'll change it and make that stroke instead. There we go. And then I apply paint a little bit thicker right here. And I'm going to start to add some of that in there too. I want to be careful about that.
I belong to an organization called Plein Air Painters of America, which is
probably the oldest plein air group in the United States. We started way back some 18, 20 years ago. Did a lot of painting in California, Catalina Island, various places in California, around Lake Tahoe and so on. But the organization was formed really as kind of a renaissance of the European painters and painting in open air and that sort of thing. And I think it's a fun challenge to be able to come out here and do something like this and just have a good time and not be too concerned whether or not it's going to be a masterpiece or not, but just be able to enjoy it for the sake of being out in the open and developing an idea.
So how are we doing?
Well, pretty good. I got it blocked in pretty good. There's kind of orangey yellow streak across the back, and I'm actually emphasizing that a little bit for some color contrast because there's not a whole lot out there right now. So I'm just putting that in back here and just going against this kind of blue, so that'll be a nice contrast. Give it a little better color.
Shaping up a little bit now, huh?
Yeah, it's starting to come together. Get the darks down first and then start popping it with the lights later on. And that just starts bringing it all together. It's kind of cool with the little, it looks like a map gas can of some sort. It's got some markings on it, so I'll have to take a look at that a little bit and see if that might be something that I want to use in the title. Get a little motion going in it.
I spent a lot of time getting the background because I have a lot of background on this, and then now I'm going to spend the rest of the 20 minutes or finishing up the main thing here. So, and hopefully it'll work out, but you won't know until it happens.
Am I done?
You think you're done? You're done. Well, it's quick paint, so should look like quick paint.
What?
Yeah, you don't have to worry about rushing at the end of the painting. I don't think you have to worry about that. So you can putz if you want.
I'm Diane Lewis, and why do I paint? Because I like to. It's very challenging. It keeps your senses alert. Well, plein air, you get to be outside and enjoy the wonderful weather. Just a lot of reasons.
The sun was coming out, and it just changes everything. And the probably most important one is that I've kind of reached a point on the painting when what is out there is not important anymore. Now it's just the painting itself is pretty much telling me, well, what to do. I'm just looking at it as design now and as a painting in itself. And the things that I want to put into it are pretty much already in it. So that almost confuses me now. Just look. Sort of like if I just took it back and worked it in the studio. So turn your easel around and stop looking at what you're painting. Just work on your work. I think I might be finished. I don't know. It's pretty rare to finish a painting before the time's up on a quick paint.
Yeah, I'm Dwayne Barnhart. This is my second painting during the quick paint, and that's a 2-hour session, so I kind of had to be zooming on them today. I have to pick one, so I feel okay. At least it didn't rain. I'm a watercolorist, and if it rains, that's kind of puts you out of business. That's one of the problems. It's a nice calm day. The mosquitoes aren't too bad, so you know, I consider that much of it a successful day. Whether it's I can do something that I like and want to keep or hang on the wall, that's maybe another issue.
On Saturdays they have.
That's it.
Jazz band. And is it gonna be dancing?
It's all over.
Wait, I'll come back and get you.
Okay, no problem.
Make sure I don't tip over, is that the deal? Fantastic.
That's our neighbor's dog. He just runs over once in a while.
Thank you so much for watching. Join us next week for another episode of Common Ground. If you have an idea for a Common Ground piece that pertains to North Central Minnesota, email us at legacy@lptv.org or call us at 218-333-3014. To view any episode of Common Ground online, visit us at lptv.org. To order episodes or segments of Common Ground, call 218-333-3020. Common Ground is brought to you by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people November 4th, 2008. If you enjoyed this episode of Lakeland Public Television's Common Ground, consider making a contribution at lptv.org.